Welcome to Mcgowan Muay Thai podcast, episode number 1. Today we've got a special guest. We've got the owner of Minotaur Gym, Lewis Taylor.
Some people might not know me and they go, who the hell's this guy? But I've dedicated my whole life to this. I've done this since I was 5 years old. I've been in the game for 22 years.
Lewis Taylor lives and breathes it. They'll know in that corner. You see those purple and white stripes.
After the right hand, stick the left forward elbow in, and come over the top of the right.
Grown up in Thailand and England. But when you look at the opposite corner,
That's it, Sal. It's beautiful. Everything you do is working. In the end, now get high. Keep it forward. And big breaths. Slow your heart rate down. Listen.
Lewis Taylor now. That one's for Paul Taylor.
Understand how do we control their arms, what position we carry down, throw it straight down the middle to their chin. We've got this roaring passion which I know most people don't have, and I want to see how far I can take it.
Lewis Taylor, the guy that kills me on a day-to-day basis. All we're going to be talking about today is our training concepts, how we started out, how we kind of met, and yeah, our future goals and where we want to take it. So yeah, man, we'll go with the flow and hopefully very informative for everyone.
Well, I'll start it because it does start with me. So over the years, apart from like some of my old teammates fighting your old teammates, one of my old teammates actually fighting you twice, just know each other through shows. That was it really, but that's just more like, you know, what the Thai boxing scene, everyone knows each other, that sort of way. Yeah. But so I must have been, 25, 24. I was coaching, and then I got the bug back for fighting. So I got in shape, started training more, knew I wanted to fight again, planned myself some fights in Thailand, and I remember thinking, right, I need like an elite level fighter to spar with, someone who's not my lads, because obviously I train him, I know him. Yeah. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. Like any fighter should get out of his comfort zone. So then I thought, you know, Dan's in Bedford, it's not too bad. Mm-hmm. And literally, I think I just dropped you a message one day, didn't I?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so you first asked to do. You messaged me to do PT.
Yeah. And
like I said to you before, I didn't actually know that. I knew I'd seen you over the years, but I'd never seen you fight or anything. So when you asked me to do PT, I was like, yeah, no problem. And then I think I did pad work for you.
Yeah, because I was training first, like, because I get it, like when someone new asks you just for like, because I mostly wanted for sparring, but not that you know that. Like, I wanted, but I know what it's like when someone's like, oh, can I just spar with you? And you're thinking, oh, who's this guy?
I've got to do like 4 PTs today and I've got to spar
Yeah,
everyone.
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, and then I actually remember, because to be honest, I rarely ask my PTs to spar, because especially if I'm in a fight camp or whatever, I do all my sparring outside of that. So then to do more sparring, it's sometimes it's a bit of a mission.
And also, well, like you get knocked sometimes, you don't know who you're with.
Yeah.
That's why I never asked for it when I did.
So like, but then I started holding pads for you, and I was like, oh, it's really got good technique. And like, I could tell with your mindset, we obviously got chatting. I knew that your mindset was kind of similar to mine. So yeah, I think a couple of sessions in, we started sparring.
Yeah, I think it was like literally 2 sessions and we were sparring, and then I think literally maybe every Saturday for like 5
a.m. and I didn't drive at the time. So
yeah, so I'd drive up to you.
Yeah,
you'd come up with a coffee. We'd go to the gym. Yeah, literally like it was like every Saturday for ages, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it went on for a while, and then
I had my 3 fights in Thailand, and then the gym just got busier, and I had to stop just because of that, really.
And this was the point where my hand, I still couldn't make a fist.
Yeah, because I remember you sparring with the old like claw.
Yeah,
literally the pointy finger.
So like, yeah, I remember that, and then, I can't remember why it stopped. I don't know if it was.
I think it was just me. The gym got so busy.
Yeah, and then I must have like. Did I go? I can't remember. I was
it might have been.
Off somewhere.
I think you only had one operation. I think it was the Thailand operation you had. I had to stop for a little bit. I'm pretty sure after that you had the other operations.
Yeah. So I had a couple more after.
But it wasn't long. It was like maybe a year. So when he had his hand operation, the first one in Thailand, like a closed fist was that.
Yeah.
It was literally like, you
My-
ever seen Jim Carrey Liar Liar?
Yeah, like so
People that are watching this, look,
my finger literally wouldn't. I couldn't make a fist. So like I had a glove on, but I couldn't obviously make a fist. So then I weren't really punching. But obviously, I've always been better with my kicks anyway. So
you'd still. Like, I remember you still punching.
I'd
me.
still.
I think you couldn't hit pads.
Yeah,
you couldn't
nah,
hit like
I couldn't,
the foot. Yeah, like
not
small
too
gloves.
much impact. Yeah, otherwise my hand would have just exploded. But yeah, that kind of stopped, and then I think maybe because I had a few more surgeries and stuff like that as well, probably.
But it wasn't long. It was maybe a year and a half.
But every Saturday, me and Lewis would spar, say 5 a.m. And then
We would do like 12 rounds.
oh, mate, and we used to kill each other. Like
In a good way though.
not necessarily, not really to the head at all.
No, it wasn't hard sparring. It was like sharp and fast.
kicks,
Yeah.
low kicks. We
We
got
were
into a
texting you on
thing.
Sunday.
We got into this thing of like just low kicking the shit out of each other, and then like I'd be doing PTs after it.
I'll do the same though.
I'd cancel all the time because my like legs were always dead. I think it was because we'd done so many rounds and it's like we're quite
It's
quick.
accumulation
like,
over time, yeah.
I'd throw a body kick, you might low kick after, or like vice versa. Like so, yeah. That's how like we started training together.
The thing is as well, like we train at like 5, yeah. So we'll start by 5:30.
Yeah.
Finish at 6:30.
Yeah.
You go do PT afterwards. I remember I'd drive home and I'd do PT afterwards, and then around about 9 o'clock your leg seizes up, and you're like, shit.
Yeah. Then I'm thinking of all the excuses to cancel my PTs.
I remember like texting you going, I'm so glad I got like a 12-year-old now.
Yeah.
That's just easy pad work.
Yeah. But that's how it all.
That's the first initial, like
proper
like, that's how we became friends, really.
Yeah, and then I remember talking a bit more. Like we train for an hour, and, probably,
Yeah.
and then say if you didn't have to rush off, we'd probably chat shit for an hour,
Yeah.
or half hour or something. And then
I remember Josh coming up sometimes and we'd still be talking.
yes, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Josh used to come.
yeah. Josh would come a lot after me.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were still talking. And you'd be like, right, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, get it.
So and then because we had so many in-depth chats about Thai boxing, especially. I always wanted to obviously come and train up at Minotaurs as well, but I didn't drive at this time.
Yeah,
So
I thought you didn't drive.
yeah, so I weren't driving. So for me to get to Hemel was just
It's impossible,
It's
yeah.
like nearly impossible. So so I can't. A few things happened after that. I think I went
You went Malaysia.
Singapore. I went Singapore.
So yes, it's Singapore. Yeah.
And then obviously the whole COVID situation happened. And then I come back from Singapore, and before Singapore, I moved to Leeds for a bit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I remember
So
that.
like, it's probably something I haven't really talked about much either, but I obviously moved to Leeds, and then COVID happened. So I was looking to fight under Bad Company Gym. I was living up there.
Yeah, because you weren't there too long, and then you got offered.
I think I was there for about 6 months, maybe around that. And then the plan was always to stay up there, but then I got offered the Singapore job in Evolve, and it was a huge
I remember
opportunity.
you messaged me about that. I actually remember you messaged me going,
I couldn't believe it, to
Yeah.
be honest. And it was when the height of COVID, when COVID was like basically at its.
do you remember you had to go to
peak.
Dubai?
Yeah, so I had to go to Dubai to get to
Spend a couple
Singapore.
times
Yeah, a
couple
couple weeks out there. So then, but then when Singapore kind of didn't go to plan for me, and I didn't really enjoy it anymore, and I wanted to come home. Obviously I was very homesick as well, so that's the reason why I come home as well. I was like, I love training with like Liam and that, but
I remember when you were in Singapore, you were like, I miss my mum, I miss my dad,
Yeah.
I miss Georgia. I remember all that.
that's it. So like I didn't want to come back and then move away again. I thought I've traveled all around for my whole career, especially after Liam died. Like I'd like moved to Thailand. I'd tried different gyms. I was always trying to settle, but it was always well far away from home. And then when I come home, I finally passed my driving test and stuff from after Singapore, and I thought I've got to. That's when I rang you, but it was not long after your dad had passed.
Yeah, I remember when you first called me, you said you wanted to call me a bit earlier, but obviously weird timing for me.
Yeah.
I'm probably just an emotional wreck as well.
Yeah, like, and it was actually Shane Miller.
That was it, yeah.
So I did a PT for him, like randomly in Bedford. I think it was because you weren't doing them.
Yeah, I had a big old break of like training people and stuff.
Yeah. So then he said to me, you need, like, message Lewis, because like Lewis would love it, like if you used to train together. And I was like, but you know, like it's timing. You know, like I feel a bit bad. He's like, nah, trust, he'll love it. I
I
thought.
still remember that phone call. We were on the phone call for just under an hour.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, again, this is what was funny, like especially now, this is what we do all the time. But
Yeah.
like, I rang you about a certain thing, like to obviously come up and start training. We just started chatting shit. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think that was like a 5-minute conversation about training. Then
Yeah.
after that, it was just, I don't know what we were talking about. But it actually, like, it's not off topic. It's actually weird because you gave me a pair of Minotaur shorts when
Yeah.
we were doing, like when we were sparring and stuff together. and this, I don't know if I told you this or not. I can't remember, but I put the Minotaur shorts on, and I did a video.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And then the next day, I found out about your dad.
Yeah.
That it's so weird that I wore them Minotaur shorts that day because I got so many shorts, and they were so far. I remember picking them out of the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It was weird.
So that was so weird. It's like kind of maybe like a little sign. I don't know.
I'm a massive believer. Like I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm a bit like things happen for a reason. Like
I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. Like that was it kind of freaked me out a bit. And I remember telling my dad, like, because my dad met your dad a few times.
which I never even knew about.
I didn't really know too much either. But I remember telling him, and I was like, that is mental. Like I can't believe. And I actually I hadn't really been posting that many videos at that stage either. Yeah. And then I posted a video. That's just like the likelihood of that's absolutely nuts. But yeah, man, and
that was November last year.
Yeah, so it's been a year, and then.
Yeah. To be fair, for a few months, you wouldn't even know that we were training together.
Nah, because it was like kind of COVID time. You didn't have the gym then.
Yeah.
We were training in the back in your garden. Well, in the little.
People that don't know, I used to have a little like back gym, and I used to do like all my one-to-ones there. I train my fighters there, especially during COVID, because I could just blag the fact they were elite fighters and stuff, and no one could say anything. So it was a lot of that, and it was like as well. And I was like, the gym was like getting really busy. I think I remember him talking to you. I was like, I'm gonna take it full time maybe, and all that sort of stuff. So it worked out perfect timing, really.
It's mad though. That time's gone quick.
Yeah, if you say like a year, you think, oh, a year's a long time, but that's mad, isn't it? I say to people all the time, like I can put my fucking hand in my heart, and I will always have my best interests. I'll always have the individual's best interests at heart. Yeah. Like one thing we left out is when you said, "Oh, look," because you remember you calling out and going, "Look, I'd like to fight for you." Yeah. And this sort of goes into your next topic, right? Like I've learned a lot from yourself, because like I've got good fighters, but then there's like there's good fighters and there's elite fighters. Yeah. So if you put it in a black and white perspective, I've got an elite fighter saying, "Lewis, I want you to train me." Like I know in my heart, I knew when you called me, like I know for a fact I can look after Dan. I always have his best interest in heart. But then it's like it's more important for you to know that. Yeah. I can say whatever I want on the sun. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people will always say what they want you to hear. If you're
find out for myself.
Yeah, you have to find it for yourself. Exactly. So I remember going to look, train me for a month. Yeah, I remember that. Like, I don't care even if the first session goes well. Yeah. Train me for a month. We'll do like a mini fight camp, whatever. For that whole month, we'll be under every single situation, like training wise, will be, and you'll know. Like I knew from when you messaged me, I knew for a fact. I knew that we would blend and we would gel. Yeah. We've got very similar philosophies. We both like very similar training styles. Like technicians, love the sport and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's your fight career. It's your choice. Like you're basically going, I want you to help me. Yeah. And I know, like I said, I could put my hand in my heart and go, I know for a fact I will look after you. But it was more about you believing in that. And I've done that for several other guys in my gym. That's why someone like Shane, he knows. He's like, hold on, like, do you know what I mean? He will go, Lewis is perfect for you. You would enjoy that. Do you know what I mean?
It's weird. I also spoke to Kelly about it, and Kelly was like, you need to go down to mine. So I was like, but I said to her, I've trained Lewis, like with Lewis like a lot, and I know just by training with you, I knew like you again, like the whole philosophy and like your mindset was similar to mine anyway. So I guess you
need to have people that care, like, in a simple sense, black and white. You need to have like, you know, like, so I remember when you called me up, I remember thinking like in my head, I will never be Liam. I don't want to be Liam. Yeah. But I will do my best to care as much as I know you did.
I think you even said that. Yeah. Because and again, the thing is with me and Lou, I'd spoke to you about Liam quite a lot before.
Yeah.
So you knew, like,
I remember when, like we say, after training, we'd sit there and talk about it.
Yeah, and talk about like how when.
So I've always been interested in, like, you know, what training you did, how was it, da da da. Do you know what I mean? Like,
for anyone that, again, getting confused, but we're talking about Liam Robinson at this point. So yeah, like my old trainer who passed away. So I'd talk to Lewis about that, and then obviously when I rang Lewis, like I said, it's when his dad passed. So like, obviously different relationships, but it was kind of similar feelings, I suppose. Like that's the closest person to me that's ever passed. And I think
about, like, you're where you are in your career and what you've done in your career, because that Liam created that foundation and grew from there, right?
Yeah.
Very similar for me. I am where I am. I couldn't be where I am without my dad.
Yeah.
You can be where you are with Liam. So it's a very similar situation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
I think that's why as well, when we spoke on the phone, that's how I knew straight away that it was going to work. And I rang my dad after and I was like, I feel like this is a good thing. Like it's basically on my doorstep. Like, I mean, if you cut the M1 traffic, but like it's basically on my doorstep. And it's the first time where I don't have to travel. And again, it was like, it also, it's weird because I take this really seriously. Otherwise I would never have got to where I've got to, but it also, you made it more that, I don't know, like you said, you were more looking it out for me, like straight away. So I don't know, it was serious, but I was like, I feel like I just can enjoy it.
yeah.
And it's not too serious, just go with it. And I think that's when I'm always the best.
Yeah.
So,
and like,
I think that's why I kind of made my decision as well.
And also like, so like someone like yourself, as I said, like there's loads of good fighters, but there's elite fighters, and there's elite fighters that have like fought legit names, have done legit things. And when you have someone like yourself come to me, like, and this is another thing as well, like I'm not teaching Dan anything new. That's not how this relationship works. Like for people out there, like, because I know for a fact there's going to be some people going, oh, why is Dan going to Lewis? He's a young trainer.
Yeah,
like that's not how it works. It's not, Dan doesn't come to me to go, show me new stuff, Lewis. That's not how it works. It's very much like, I know you are passionate and you care to train me hard and pull me up when I make mistakes, because we all make mistakes, we're all human, and that you have my best interests at heart. That's what a true trainer should do. Like at the end of the day, basics are best. Do you know what I mean? Like there's all these fancy techniques, but that's not what wins you fight. Basic at best. You do all that very well. That was already very established before you met me.
Yeah.
I'm here to go, right, Lewis, like, what do I need to do? Am I putting the work in? Are you looking after me?
Yeah.
I'm feeling off this day. What do I do? So you need someone to keep you accountable, sort of thing, and someone that's actually going to look after you. That's what this is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Especially at this, like you said, at the stage that we kind of started this.
Because I know straight up, like when we first started training together, there was a few people that were like quite shocked.
Yeah,
we talk about this all the time.
I knew it because a lot of people would even say to me, like, "You sure, like it's the right decision?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I mean, I've been in this game long enough to know if my decision's right.
Yeah.
Like, if I thought it was a load of shit, I wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, it's, you know, like,
I had the same thing with Sal, like for years. Like I said, I became Sal's full-time trainer when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
It's the amount of shit I got.
But like, the thing is, again, I was training people like Simon Forrest and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was doing PT, or like, I started PTing him, that's how I met him. And I started training him when I was probably like 16, 17. So like, I've been doing that myself. So like, again, it doesn't really matter about the age. It's like experience, the mindset, the knowledge, you know, all of that. If you got that, then you can do it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's been. So when like with a fighter and a trainer, obviously like skill set has to be there, the knowledge has to be there. But I think number one for me as a fighter would be trusting the coach. And again, that's why I think we get on so well, because I trust you. Like with anything that's come up so far, if like I'll speak to you straight away, you'd be the first port of call, and then if you say yes or you say no, I'll trust that, and then we'll go with it. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think.
And
that's
also,
the most
like
important
for me and you as well, like we bounce off each other. Like it's not so much in the sense of like, it's not black and white and like you ask whatever I say is gospel. It's not, again, it's not how it works. It's very much like, you're like, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like, that's a good thought. And then we delve in and we just sort of nitpick it and sort of, I'm also someone that you can like delve deeper in with sort of certain things.
Yeah.
Again, it's still trust at the end of the day. It's all trust.
I think definitely the main thing it's trust. Trust is the biggest thing. Like, even like when you're speaking to promoters, I know that, right, I've got my price or whatever, my deal that I want. I don't even have to ask you anymore. Well, I told you that from the start. I want this much, and I want
and I'm like very
these type of fights. Just get me them, and I'm cool. I'll say yes to anything. Like if you believe it's right, and so that again that comes down to trust. And
that's one less thing. That's one less thing you have to worry about. You can just focus on fighting.
That's it. So like that's why I feel like I'm enjoying it a lot more now, because at one point when I come back, I'm trying to get like.
It's hard being your own manager and trying to train.
And I'm talking like some huge fights at the time, like we were talking about earlier, like one fight in particular, and like, and Thai boxing hasn't got to that mainstream yet, But that fight in the UK would have been
Probably close as it can get.
yeah, it would have been ridiculously big. So, and I was doing that before I even had a trainer. You know, I accepted that. So, yeah. But then if I had you there at that point, it would have just been a lot less stressful. So having a coach that hasn't fought, this is
a hard one.
It's hard because there has been coaches that
There's been some very successful coaches that haven't fought that much, or even fought at all.
Personally, for me, I'd feel a lot more comfortable knowing that the people in my corner have been there and done it.
So it's theory over practical, right?
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I say, I don't think a coach needs to fight at the highest level.
No.
But a coach needs to understand what the emotions a fighter goes through. And not just once, not just an end class, not like proper, like, you know, like pro Thai fight. Because it's the stress, the anxiety, what it's like to go through an actual hard training camp.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, the trainers put in all the students put in all their faith in your training methods. But how do you know if these training methods
they
work?
Right, or they work.
How they right? Like, yeah,
that's it.
Because if you otherwise just made up.
That's it. Like, personally, like we had this conversation about for my next fight, like who's in the corner, and I like having Pan in the corner, and the reason being is because, I mean, you can't really get any better, like as in what he's achieved, like Rajadamnern champion.
Yeah.
So when someone like that's in your corner, backing you, and he's telling you, yeah, you can do it, or you're looking sharp, you know, it makes you feel good. It just makes you feel good, and he's just good to be there. So like having him, because I know he's done it all, it makes it so much, like it makes me so much confident in my team.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, 100%.
So personally, I wouldn't really want a coach that hasn't ever experienced fighting. But I don't know about Thai boxing, but I know boxing, they have a few
boxing is massive. Yeah, boxing is massive. Like, it's quite common. Like,
yeah.
But not all great fighters can be coaches.
I mean, this is where people get confused. Like, being a great fighter does not mean you're a good coach, and a good coach does not mean you'll be a good fighter. Like, I've said this multiple times. They're completely different jobs. If you want to call it something, call it a job, right?
Yeah.
Fight is all about themselves. A coach is all about how much you can give to the individual. Like, that's what a coach is, right? It's how much information, how much whatever it is you're giving, right? One's giving, one's sort of keeping and taking, if that's what you want to call it. They're two different things. Like, there's some great fighters out there that you can just tell aren't fantastic coaches because they haven't got the care for an individual. They can't. Like, fighters are really good at doing, but sometimes not very good at understanding.
Yeah. And like you said as well, like, being a coach, you have to be very selfless.
Yeah,
like, being a fighter, you have to be selfish. So
you have to be. Yeah.
I've noticed that, like, now that I've opened my own club and stuff, like, especially when I'm in a fight camp, sometimes I have to, like, remind myself, like, all right, this isn't about you now. Like,
there's a small period of time where you've got to go, right, I need to focus on me for this. Yeah.
It's very hard to get the balance. Like, I'm still learning, to be honest, at that. So, but yeah, I think some people just can't switch it up.
Yeah. Even I struggle. Like, I still love hitting pads. I still love training with the guys. And I still do it.
Yeah.
But like, say like right now, what is coming at the end of the year, I've got fighters out every weekend for the next 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't spar. I can't train. I can't, because my main job is when they're sparring, I've got to make sure they're doing the right things, checking on their technique, talking to them, holding more pads. Do you know what I mean? So it is such a it's a conflict interest.
Yeah, definitely. No, that is very true.
Can coaches be egotistical and arrogant?
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. Coaches can definitely.
There's loads.
It's hard because it's a.
For instance, so like, this could be controversial. Nah, I'm not gonna name drop or anything, but there's certain padmen or like trainers.
It's massive difference between like padmen and coaches.
Yeah. So like, but either one, coach or padmen, yeah. Like, you see him training a fighter, and they're doing more than the fighter on the pads, and stuff like that. And I think that comes down sometimes a bit of ego. Yeah,
again, it's like, especially like what we were saying earlier, like, especially like now, it's so easy to promote yourself, but then it's also so easy to promote yourself in the wrong way, in the sense of, like, say if the coach is doing, the coach trying to promote themselves by working with a fighter and just doing stuff that looks good for their own socials. Are they actually looking after the fighter or looking after themselves?
Yeah.
And if they're looking after themselves, to going over their contradicting their job role, which is to be selfless and look after the fighter.
Yeah.
But then it's so hard. It's
It's hard. But all I know is that Lewis never posts anything. So
I don't post anything. If anyone knows, I hate social.
That's how I know
so
he's
much.
genuine.
I hate it so much.
He just
Like
trains it 'cause
you'll
he
see
loves
my page, and all that has been forced because I hate it so much. I'm lucky enough where now I'm quite lucky over the last probably 2 years since I've done this for 10 years now, coaching fighters, amateurs, pros. But the last 2 years I've gone right that this is my main job now. I don't have another job. This is my main thing.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough where in these last 2 years I've built up enough. What do you want to call it? It's not recommendation. I've brought up enough presence where I don't need to promote myself too much to get one-to-ones. I don't have to promote myself I don't have to put myself out there too much to try and get clients in a sense. So, because that's the reason why I do it, right? Let myself out there, put myself out there so people know that I'm good training, that I can train well, and people come to me for training, right? I've always trained the fighters. I've trained the fighters the same. My ethic's been the same. My training style's been very much the same. My philosophy's been the same for years, but I've never put it out there. I put it out there more in these last 2 years, and because of that, I've got enough drive behind me to always have people coming through the gym and stuff like that. So now I'm just lazy with it.
Yeah. Don't know about. Oh, you're not lazy.
No,
you're lazy with the social.
Lazy with the social.
Yeah,
definitely not lazy with the training.
Yeah.
I don't. And I say this. I've always been a hard worker. I've always pushed myself. Push my fight as much as I can.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm. You know what it's like. I train you. I know you're dead. I'm not as dead as you, but I'm fucked as well.
Some of them sessions are hard.
Yeah,
Even for
yeah.
the pad man though. Like when you're doing 15 rounds and stuff, it's still hard.
It's
cold.
hard. I worked out the other day. I do average about 110, 120 rounds a day.
You need to chill out, man.
It's mad. I'm only 5'5", get break.
Yeah, Thailand's there's been a few things that have shaped my career, probably, but I'd say a big factor was going to Thailand. I think I went from early as well, so I went when I was 15, and I managed. Luckily, I got a fight there because Pan linked me up, and I got a fight in Rajadamnern, and that's really what kind of excelled me. I think it gave me the confidence to be able to fight against or not fight against anyone at the time, because obviously I wasn't high level, but the fact that I went there, I didn't know who I was fighting, and I just didn't care, and I'd done it, kind of gave me that confidence that I was kind of fearless. So that helped that. But just the way they train, the way they live it, the way some of these fighters are obviously forced basically into doing it because of money problems. I don't know, seeing all of that and seeing how good they are and being around ridiculously high level fighters definitely shaped me, probably shaped me as a fighter, and also helped me be probably a better person, if I'm honest. And also growing up, because I moved out to Thailand when I was I went there for a few months first, when I was 16. So after I'd fought in Raja, I went when I was 16, and I went there for 3 months, I think it was, or 2 or 3 months. I had a few fights, went back again for another 6 months, had a few fights. And I lived on my own when I was 16 in a complete different country. I literally finished my GCSEs, got my results, and flew to Thailand the next day with me and Macaulay and John Paul Gallagher, actually. And that's when I had my second fight in Rajadamnern, and I had another one as well. I got smashed actually in one of them. First time I got dropped, but that was on a big show. Senchai was the main event, but yeah, the experiences from just life in general there, having to grow up very quick, even little things like doing my own washing, as a 16-year-old, your mum probably does it for you. Yeah. So even learning little things like that, just keeping your own space tidy. I know it's kind of basic, but little things you have to do because you live on your own now. But then as a fighter and experiencing fighting against Thais, that like I just said, I got beat by one of them, and what I learned from some of them losses really helped me like grow as a fighter. And that sounds cliche, but genuinely, like all the losses I've had, I can look back on it and I'm like, wow, like I learned this, and that's never happened to me again because I got hit with this shot because I weren't doing A. But you know, now I don't do that. I haven't made that mistake again.
Like this is the thing. Like people get so negative about failing, right? Failing's only bad if that's like that's the end. Like you learn from your mistakes, because if you didn't make the mistakes, you wouldn't have. If you didn't make the mistakes, there's nothing to learn.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Like how can you improve on something that you're already amazing at? So you've got to make the mistakes.
And I think this is why the Thais are probably so good, because they fight when they're in the stadium, it's like every month, but
before they get bigger time, they're every 2 weeks.
They're
sometimes every week.
Sometimes they're every week. I even spoke to Nongo. He's like sometimes fighting twice in a week or 3 times in a week, or going to one show in one day, going to another the net. Like
I remember like being in Samui for like the whole summer, 8 weeks, and seeing the same Thai fight every week.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And but you think how many times they've probably lost, and they've experienced a certain style, or they've been hit with a certain shot, and they're going, all right, I need to improve on that. Go back to the gym. And I think that's how they've got better.
Your body adapts to the situation. You've got to be put in that situation to then adapt to it, right? So that's why it's so important. Like again, cliche, the old either you win or learn sort of thing. But I'm not a believer that you win or learn. I just think you learn.
Yeah.
Like if you win, you learn. If you lose, you learn. And I think like if you win a fight, the goal should be to go back, improve what you're already good at, and then really improve on what you're not good at. And if you lose, you should go in and improve what you're already good at.
Obvious.
It's just more obvious, but the results are still the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The goal doesn't change whether you win or lose.
Yeah.
That's just part of it.
And I think like I said, in Thailand, another good thing is the whole winning and losing thing. Like
I don't care. Really.
It's not, but no one really cares unless you show heart.
Yeah.
Show that you've tried.
Basically like a good fight.
They like seeing good fights and seeing that you're putting 100% into it. But that's another thing I probably learned is I see some of the Thais. It was like, oh, whatever. Like they're in like Lumpini Championship fights. They lost, bit upset, but back to normal.
Yeah.
Like straight after, it's just another day, and that's what I kind of liked about it. And I think that's again what helped me in my career, because I never really suffered with nerves because I just treated it as like just another day. I think because I was in Thailand fighting regular, it was literally at one point just another day.
It's just something you do, isn't it? It's just something you do. It's part of your routine.
To be honest, the last fight I had in Thailand, this was when I broke my hand again. I'd fought the month before, and then I fought.
I remember you fought very close together.
No, actually, I fought. I think because I took that one late notice, so it might have been even like 2 or 3 weeks after.
I remember watching it in my office desk on my computer.
And I remember like it was on True For You TV, and I walked into the fight and I was like going to the ring and I was like, this is so normal. Like, why is this so? I actually remember having a weird like realization, like this is mad. Like when I was a kid, all I dreamed about was fighting in the stadiums and in Thailand against the top fighters and stuff. And then, but I couldn't imagine it that much at the time. And then I'm doing it in Thailand, like, and it was just a normal day. Like it was just so relaxed, so normal. And I was like, should it be this normal? Like, why am I feeling so relaxed? Like, genuinely no nerves at all. Like, it was so weird. But like, I think it's because being around the Thais, and it's just like it's just another day to me. I think I picked that up.
That's what I love about Thailand. Like the Western culture is we really have to make a big deal out of these things.
Yeah.
Like it has to be like, it's like everything we do is like the be all of end all. But when you fight. Like life always moves on, right?
Yeah.
Like your life doesn't end at that moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But most time, not right. So it's just, again, there's always going to be another fight. As long as you want to, right? As long as you want to, there's always another one. So don't get me wrong, I think you need to be a little bit nervous. But then also at the same time, if you dwell on it too much in your mind, you get like this mental block.
Yeah.
You see, like how many times have you seen people panic in the ring?
So, like, don't get me wrong, I had a couple of butterflies, but yeah, like it's just so calm in my head. Like it was just weird. And I remember jumping over the ropes, and it was like everything was in slow motion at that point.
You're about to use your body to smash into another person's body.
Yeah, I'm like,
normal.
what is going on? And I'm doing this in Thailand.
That's it.
Like, what? Yeah, just weird. And yeah, so I think just being calm before fights, it helped me like not really feel too nervous before big fights and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Thailand definitely like helped shape my career massively, and it gave, because I was doing well in the stadiums and stuff, it gave me a little bit more of a name worldwide, because people saw that a young lad like from England, that I'd say Liam Harrison was probably one guy from England that tried with the stadiums. I think he was close to doing like well in there, but then I don't think he quite made because the championship, like we've actually spoke about that, where he just never got that kind of championship fight or like that. He'd get to like number 1 or number 2 rankings and he'd get beat on a close fight or whatever. So that was I think that's why people started watching me, because I was starting to do well in the stadiums, and I think I was the next one from the UK that people believed that could maybe
especially before the hand injury.
Yeah, I mean
100%.
before the hand injury, it was.
I remember talking to you about it. I remember you going, "I'm going to go for that." Like,
that was like my only goal in life. Like literally, I didn't care about anything else. I was broke as well. Like, I had no money, but didn't care because all I cared about was that. Like
a belt you still need to pay for when you win it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You still need to pay for it.
Yeah, like,
I don't know if many people know that. Like, when you win a belt in Thailand, you don't actually get to keep it. You have to pay for like 300 quid to get one made.
I don't know if the same is it the same? I don't even know if it's the same for like Raja and that belt. I'm not too sure.
Same for all belts in
is
Thailand.
It? Yeah, I didn't know
same
that.
for all belts in Thailand.
That's mad.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, mental. But
all the stadium ones anyway.
That was my like number 1 goal.
So you get a photo.
Yeah, and then just give it back.
And the money they pay you to fight, you got to pay for.
Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it?
And then after that, I would have had to pay for my hand surgery as well. So I would have been in the negative. So, but nah, that was.
But it's all for the at the end. Like we joke about it a bit. Like all them fights in Thailand, the names you fought in Thailand, and like that that can be with you forever. You'll tell your kids that, your grandkids.
Oh yeah, I had some good times, man. Some really good times. Like, and yeah, not that I'm going to retire or anything like that, but I could retire today. I mean, as a fighter, you always want more. Yeah. So like, the next thing, there's always something bigger, and that's in life as well. Everyone's always on to the next thing. Like you achieve one thing, and you straight away what's the next bigger thing? And that's same as a fighter. But if I retired today, if I got told I had to stop fighting today, if I look back on my career, I've achieved some mad things like that I could only dream of achieving when I was like first setting out, like doing it. Do you know what I mean? So like fighting stadium champions, beating them, winning by KO, fighting on TV and stuff. Like,
I remember when you fought Ronda Rousey, that looked so easy.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and again, fighting him, like current Rajadamnern champion, Thailand champion.
How many times did he get fighter of the year?
He won it after the year after we fought.
Yeah,
And then he actually got beat by Yotin, and then they stripped him of it randomly. It was like the first time they've ever done that. It was really weird. But so he won it because he was on like a 10 or 11 fight win streak.
I remember seeing the polls up on on like a.
But it's crazy because I mean, I beat him comfortably.
Yeah,
like, it was pretty easy, to be honest. And like again, looking back, like when I used to watch like some of these Thais fight in stadiums, or even like when I used to watch like Liam Harrison fighting Thais in England and stuff, like I couldn't even imagine giving them a close fight. So then fast forward that like maybe 5 years or whatever, I'm like beating these
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong when they fight Thais. They put them in this like untouchable pedestal. Don't get me wrong, they are fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
they are amazing. But if you have that mentality of they're better than you, or they're doing things that you can't do, then you've sort of set yourself up to fail, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. Like when I used to
some people are just happy to be in there, aren't they?
That's it. Yeah, that was one thing I always said. I don't want to settle for being mediocre. Like if I'm going there, I'm going there to be the best. I'm not going to go there to fight in like a tourist destination. Like just I wanted to go there pure, and that's not wrong. If you want to do that, it's cool. I'm not bashing anyone for that. But my mindset was, if I'm there, I want to be the best, and I don't care if he's been born into this. I'm coming to beat him, and I'm going to try to take them all out. And that was my mindset, and because I had that mindset, when I was fighting them, things they could I feel like they could sense that.
They're like looking at you like, oh, he's not scared.
In the end, like towards the end of like before the hand injury and stuff, like the Thais were actually starting, like they, you know, even little things like they'd come up, they'd bow to me, and I'm like, that's weird. Like a few years ago, you were all laughing at me in the change rooms, like they were like mugging me up. Now the promoters are like all talking to me, all the fighters coming up to me. Even like after the last fight I won, the young lad come up to me and was calling me like P Daniel, like I hope you're alright, because he could see my hand was smashed and stuff. Even like little things like that, I'm like, oh, that's mental. Like they're actually like giving me full respect now. So yeah, it's mad, but we had some good times. So like, like being a Muay Thai fighter, especially living in Thailand and trying to do it there. Like, I've actually heard you actually said this, I think, on Nat Muay training. If you can train and be a decent fighter, or a high level fighter, you could probably
if you can have that same discipline of like a high level fighter, high level competitor in any sport really, but especially a fighter, because it is very black and white. You win some, you lose some. You get injuries, you get setbacks. It's very black and white. There's no team to fall back on. It's you and you only. If you can battle through that controversy, if you can take that discipline of, I don't want to fucking do that 10k run. Oh my God, Lou's going to fucking do 145-minute round with me today. It's going to die. If you can power through that and take that mindset into running a business, the ability to do shit you don't want to do and to work through that natural laziness we all have. You could do anything, absolutely anything.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and
like I used to be like when I used to work in London. Like if I had a job done, I had to get done by 6 a.m. I would stay. I'd work all day, all night, not even sleep, and get it done. And I'll be honest, I actually found it pretty easy.
Yeah.
Once I told myself, I'm just gonna. It's just what's got to be done. When I told myself that's just what is got to be done. Piece of piss. Always got it done.
I think especially like with Muay Thai, like you realize how strong and like how powerful the mind is, and you can you realize, again, cliche, but you literally can achieve so much with having a more positive outlook or a more disciplined outlook. And like you said, you've got to have that in Muay Thai to be successful. If you don't,
as a fighter, you have to have it.
Yeah, as a fighter, you have to, like, because if you don't, you get found out. And I suppose that's like life as well.
Think about like your hand, right? Like how many people do you know that just moan about when one thing goes wrong in their life? Like one little thing.
Yeah.
Your hand was a massive thing.
Yeah.
As a fighter, you need that.
Yeah.
If you were a normal human being, you'd be like, right, I'm done, sacking this off, screw it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Even that, like, I think getting through that was probably one of the hardest. Yeah, probably one of the hardest things in my life, to be honest, because there was so much that happened to it. Like there was loads of like bad surgeries that happened, blah blah. But when I managed to get through that, I was like, wow, I got through, like, that was tough. Like, and I never claimed to be depressed or anything like that. And I sometimes speak to people about this and they're like, why don't you claim to be depressed? And I'm like, well, I don't want to like telling myself that, for one. I just want to. That it was hard and I was sad.
Yeah, like in your mind, you're like, I'm just going through a shit time.
Yeah,
I'm just going to power through it.
But I powered through it and I got through the other side. And
sometimes it's good not to label it as like, I'm depressed.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what I mean? You're just like, right, this sucks right now. I have two options. I can just live in this moment and it continually sucks, or I go, I'm just going to keep working to get myself out of it.
We talk about this all the time. Like when you tell you, like, you can talk things into existence.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So like. The whole time, like, I mean, I had some breakdowns, not gonna lie, like some breakdowns to my like close family, friends, girlfriend. I still do, to be honest, but I also talk about it, and it's like it's just normal. Everyone has them moments, you know. Everyone needs the little like to let it all out at some point.
Oh yeah, it's never as simple as, you know, like, but if you had to look at it from more as a whole,
yeah,
you can. Do you know what I mean? You know, like you're never gonna just sit there and moan.
That's it. So like I got through that and I realised again like I mean, physical pain I had a lot, but mental was really hard as well. But I managed to just get through it.
Well, I say this all the time. The body's just enslaved to the mind. If your body's tired, your mind's probably tired. If your body's all tight and stiff and tense, your mind's probably feeling the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Your mind is the thing that is in charge of the body, right?
That's it.
So if your body feels like shit, it's probably your mind feels like shit.
And going back to the original question about like mindset, like I think having a strong mindset in Thai boxing, you realise how strong it is. So then if you can kind of get through them kind of hard moments, you can do that in life as well. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah. I'll tell you what, from me, like if you had to use me as an example, it was, if you take away like the Thai boxing side and more of like a, not business, but like, you know, I earned my living working for someone. I had a very good job in London, and I took the risk and went, you know what, I will sustain myself, sort of thing. And could it have fucked up? 100%. You know, I was very cushy, but it's one of them ones like, I remember literally saying to myself, what's worse can happen? If that happens, how I deal with it. And I had a plan for it. So I thought, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. Because like most situations in my life, and again, what Thai boxing taught me, when something bad does happen, because it is life's, you're going to have good things and bad things. When it does happen, are you going to stop there or power through it until the next good thing happens? Or are you going to stop there and go, all right, how am I going to make this good? How am I going to get out of it? Do you know what I mean? So that's an example.
Right, to be fair, my example was pretty similar. Would be leaving Evolve. Like, mate, a dream of, in a lot of people's eyes in this industry, would be like the dream job. It was a dream job for me. Like when I got offered it, and I think there's no secret that most people know that the money that they pay is top end. Like I'd never earned so much money in my life, but I wasn't happy at all. Like you said, I wanted to leave, but then I was like, but the money, like I was so cushy, like with the money that was comfortable. I was earning the most I've ever earned, but then I was like, I've got to take a risk, and I took the risk, and it wasn't thinking.
When you say risk, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it doesn't, like now you're sitting there, you're like, oh, it's not a risk. It is a risk, and it's not a risk.
Yeah, like it wasn't, but it is. Yeah,
I say this all the time. So I think we have the same sort of mentality. If there's a situation which involves me, I'm going to bet on myself every single time.
Yeah.
Because if I choose to put myself up to the challenge, I will make it work.
That's it.
I think you're the same, right? So
yeah, exactly the same. I think. And then when I come back, there was a few different issues with Evolve that the reason why I left. But the one thing I think I realised was I wanted to do my own thing. Like I feel like I'd built up enough knowledge in this game to go off and do my own thing and make my own money and make my own business. And again, I think, say if I wasn't a fighter, I know like this is all to do with the fight industry, but like say if I was in a more commercial job or whatever, say if I wasn't a fighter, I don't think it would have been as easy to leave that job. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I see it with a lot of my friends and stuff like that, haven't done it, haven't fought and stuff. They're in nice cushy jobs, but they probably could do a lot better.
Mate, like this was like the killer for me. Like, say I worked in a high-end job in London, and all people would do is after work is moan about their work. Jesus Christ! But they were too trapped to get out.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is mad. Like it's mad. I don't know about this country. It might be every country, but
I don't know.
I think people get stuck in like.
I don't think you know what? There's nothing wrong with like being stuck, because not everyone can do what they enjoy, right? But at the same time, you can kind of control where your happiness goes.
100%.
And you also have to sort of accept the situation. If you don't accept the situation and what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's either worth it or not, right? If the money's not worth it, then what are you doing? If it is worth it, then it is what it is.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
It obviously wasn't worth it for you.
Exactly.
And you chose the thing to make you more happy. It's worked out right.
I couldn't imagine my life without it. Like I don't know what else I'd do.
Yeah.
Like I think I genuinely don't know what else.
Your life would involve it somehow.
Yeah, like whether it's coaching, like obviously I won't fight forever, but like fighting's at the moment I'm fighting and coaching. Whether then I go into full-time coaching, whether I go into like promoting, maybe I don't know. There's loads of things, but I used to think that I could never do anything else. To be fair, and I think over the years I've learned, like we've just been talking about, the whole mindset thing. Like if I want to do something, I can do it.
Yeah, you know, like different stages of your life, right? You might be a 40-year-old man, find another interest, and just go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's like you never know. Like, do you know what I mean?
And I feel like you have to be a bit obsessed to get to where you want to in this sport as well. And then again, if you can get that obsessed about another thing, you could. To be fair, I'm getting better. Like I said, I didn't used to ever think I could do anything else, and now, and even like listening to podcasts and stuff like business podcasts or whatever, I never used to even care because all I thought about was Muay Thai. But now I've as I got older, I started listening to other things and trying to take like other things on board as well. So mate, I couldn't see my life ever without Muay Thai, but I'm not ruling out that I could do something else as well. Yeah, like outside of it, because at the end of the day, a lot of this is short term.
There's different stages of life. Like, what are you going to do when you're 60?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So even being
being
a fighter is obviously really short term. Like you mid-30s and you're probably calling it a day. especially if like you're me, where you've been doing it since you're fucking 8 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't really want to be going past mid-30s, really. Maybe I'll be wrong, but that's usually around.
Yeah,
around
there's
the age,
always
yeah.
the exception. The exception, but
Around 35 to 36, 37, like then most people are calling it a day. But then even being a coach, like having to hold pads, you can't do that forever. Either.
Yeah.
Like,
I've said this all the time.
do you know what I mean? So like, then what do you do after that? So that's why, like, yeah, I couldn't imagine my life without it. But then I feel like you do have to be a bit smart, like, because a lot of this is short term.
I want to be like that trainer at 13 coins who sits in his chair and
Yeah.
shoots in the gym.
Yeah, so like you can't actually, you can't be smart on your own. Like you do need other people to guide you.
You have
as
to
well.
surround yourself with the same like, sort of minded people to sort of like, everyone needs guidance, whether they realise they're getting guidance or not. Like the people you surround yourself are very influential, like to what you want to do. Like we say all the time, like if you're surrounded by negative people, it's gonna be negative.
That's it. Like I think it's very important to have that. Again, not in just Muay Thai, but in life, having a good circle, like having a good circle of.
Well, it's like
positive
this, if you imagine being a fighter under a team you don't trust, you're probably not gonna.
Yeah, you're probably not gonna thrive.
Yeah.
Like so, having positive people in the gym and like-minded people, definitely does help. But
Like the Thai box relationship is very emotional.
yes, yeah,
Like for me, like I'm not fighting when you fight, but fuck me, it's so emotional. For me.
yeah,
Oh! All day, mate! He'll get frustrated, be what he'll work. Mix it up all the time. Change the level.
yeah. And,
It's like a bit of your soul's out there. You think, fuck.
and like we said before, like it's kind of unforgettable. Like if you cornered me, or if we had like say 10 years time, I've stopped fighting, or like whatever happens, and we cross paths, we'll always talk about
Mate,
certain things that happen like during our kind of time together, because like it is unforgettable.
Yeah,
And
them sort of
so good
experiences, they hit you different. Like you're never going to talk about that time you went to the pub with your mates after work.
Nah.
Like, do you know what I mean? But like after like a win that like felt so good and you worked fucking hard for it, and you're like,
you sacrifice. Like that's the thing as well. I think because everyone in the gym is basically doing the same thing, no matter what the level is. Like at any level, everyone's got the same goal. They want to win. They sacrifice their life, no matter, even if you're an amateur. Like realistically, you're basically sacrificing a big part of your life.
I think you just fucking nailed it on the head. Like Thai boxing teaches you like competitive sports sacrifice. Like you need that sacrifice to get where you want to get, and that sacrifice breeds that sort of mentality.
Yeah, and then because everyone's going through that in the same environment, it's like a brotherhood formed straight away.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you've got to then this is like you're going into battle in it. So like you're literally going to fight someone else. So it's even more intense. So then everyone, it's a very selfish sport, but you need like
It's like,
group together.
like everyone say, "Oh, fighting selfish sport." Like, it is only when you're in the ring.
Yeah.
Even then, you still got a corner there helping you, guide you.
Yeah.
Because they're there guiding you outside the fight. But you need them people, like, you need your training partners to be pushing you in sparring. You need your coach to be pushing you in pad work. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely.
Even, like, your partner, right? Like, your partner, like, telling you that, you can do it, it's all right. Get on with it.
Yeah.
It's not like, you're not literally just there on your own. So it is selfish, but not as selfish as what people think.
Nah, yeah, that's true. And having, like we've said a few times, like having a good team is definitely helps. And like, that's why you choose a certain corner team, because you're like, all right, I want that because they make me feel good in that moment.
Even like me, like depending who's fighting, I will choose certain people in my corner because I know I know for a fact when I'm saying something, they'll shout out as well. Like we say, I've got like a husky, croaky voice. I actually can't shout that loud.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure, like, certain fighters that I know struggle to listen, I need to have a certain corner team where I know they can shout louder than I can, but they're repeating what I'm saying. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a very similar thing.
Yeah, man. So yeah, hope everyone enjoyed that. To be fair, me and Lewis do this. This is like standard procedure for us.
We literally talk.
We kind of had a little plan in our heads what we wanted to talk about, and I think we literally didn't cover a lot of it because we just go deep into like conversation about other things, but it's raw. It's like we're talking from the heart.
Rants are the best.
Yeah, that's it. So that's what we kind of felt like suited this one. But if everyone enjoyed it, we'll do this more often, and we can talk for days, years.
Can literally talk about everything.
Literally. So Yeah. So I've seen this on the Diary of a CEO podcast, where he gets his guest to write down a question in the book. Then the next guest reads out the question. They have to answer it. So do my own little spin on it. But Lewis, for the next guest, what topics would you like them to cover?
For your next guest, if it's a fighter, I'd like just to compare training methods and training routines, just to see what other fighters do different to yourself or what you know. If you have a coach on, be interested to see what their philosophy and what their approach to sort of training methods are and how they get fighters ready and what are their beliefs, what do they prioritise. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of compare understandings of the sport basically and how you proceed.
That sounds good, man. Sounds good. So thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, hopefully that was informative, insightful. Hopefully you learned a bit. But yeah, we'll be back.